What if I tell you that all you see here, this white route marked on a world map, was driven with one single set of suspensions? That's over 210,000 kilometers, 7 years across 6 continents. That's pretty impressive, right? My name is Aldo. I'm an overlander, an adventure traveler, and together with my wife Vera and Toto, the nickname we gave to our expedition vehicle, we literally circumnavigated the globe, visiting 72 countries to date. And we did all of that with one single set of Ironman 4x4 foam cell suspensions. Now try to imagine what our suspensions have been through. We started our trip in 2016 from England. We drove all the way to Moldova and Eastern Europe, then up to Norway. We crossed the whole of Russia. We went to Japan. We shipped our car to Southeast Asia, Thailand, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Borneo, and then Australia, which we loved. Then from there, Sydney, we shipped our car 2 months to Montevideo in Uruguay, South America, and drove all the way south in Ushuaia, that is La Fin del Mundo, the southernmost travelable point on Earth. Then, with no more roads to go, we had to make a U-turn and drive all the way up, zigzagging in Patagonia, so between Chile and Argentina. Then it was Bolivia, we re-entered the heart of Brazil, down to Peru, up to Ecuador and then Colombia, where we shipped our car to Mexico. From there, we drove a bit down in Central America, Guatemala, Belize, and then up to the United States, visiting the majority of the Western national parks there. It was then time to enter to British Columbia in Canada, then Alaska, and finally we reached the northernmost travelable point in Canada, TIK TOK, where we dipped our feet in the Arctic Ocean. But we were not done yet, so from that point we drove back down and crossed entirely Canada from west to east, and we re-entered at the Niagara Falls, the United States, and then drove all the way down to Miami in 2020. That was when COVID struck. So we got stuck for a few months there before finally being able to ship our car to Italy, the country where I'm from. So 2021 was spent driving across my country, and we visited a beautiful place in the Alps, in the Apennines. It was lovely. In the summer 2021, we took a ferry to Greece and we continued our trip to Bulgaria, Turkey, Georgia, Armenia, and about last year we entered the Middle East, starting from Iran. We then went to Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi, Bahrain, Qatar, the Emirates, Oman, Jordan, Israel, and then Egypt, reaching our 6th continent, Africa. From Egypt, just a few months ago, we drove south in Sudan, Ethiopia, and now we are in Kenya. We have tested our suspensions on all sorts of terrains: gravel, sand, mud, rocks, lava fields, everywhere, in the most extreme conditions. We've been from minus 27 Celsius in Canada up to plus 63 Celsius in Iran, in the Lut Desert, the hottest place on Earth. And we drove on some epic roads, the Trans-Siberian in Russia, Gibb River Road and Tanami Desert in Australia. We had so much fun on Fraser Island. We then drove the Ruta 40 in Argentina, the Death Road in Bolivia, the Trans-Amazonica in Brazil and the Pantanal. We had fun off-roading in Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Moab, you name it, and then Alaska, then the Dempster Highway in Canada. We spent the last year driving in the deserts in the Middle East, the Lut Desert in Iran, Rub al-Khali in Saudi, as well as the Crater Field, and then now more recently in the Sahara Desert in Sudan, and our suspensions performed impeccably. There you have it. Those are the bad boys I was telling you about that today are being replaced. In fact, I still got the hands a bit dirty. I'd like to thank Ironman 4x4 for providing us a brand new state-of-the-art suspensions kit. I'll get to that in a minute. Because before continuing, I'd like to mention that Ironman 4x4 is not sponsoring this video. I'm not getting paid to say anything about their products. And most important, they will not watch this video before you do. All that you will hear in this testimonial and the long-term review, it's according to my very own real-life experience and my opinion. You should know that I purchased this kit back in 2016 and I paid to have it installed. So now let me tell you a bit more about the foam cell technology. You see, at Ironman 4x4, they know one thing or two about suspensions. They've been doing this for almost 60 years. And for 15 of those years, they have been producing foam cell shock absorbers. They are market leaders. They design and test their products in Australia. Now, I've been there, and I guarantee you, it's a pretty tough off-road playground. They provide suspension kits to the military, armored vehicles sector, off-road competition, and have successfully completed the famous Dakar Rally. Their shock absorbers undergo the so-called torture test. You heard it right, torture. They really push them to the limits. And you see the results lying here today. One of the big problems with shock absorbers is the heat generated during use. If the oil inside the shock absorber gets too hot, it can aerate and mix with the nitrogen gas. If this happens, you experience shock fade. Basically, it loses its viscosity and core damping abilities. Inside these shocks, there is a sleeve of foam with hundreds of tiny gas-filled cells, which the oils runs around and all over. So this foam cell basically avoids the mixing of the oil with the gas, ensuring that shock fade is none of your concern anymore. A foam cell suspension kit is considerably larger compared to a standard suspension kit, and it provides a lift between 4 to 5 centimeters. Also, you can carry extra load if combined to the right coils. It's a very good compromise in performance when you are hitting a dirt road track at highway speeds for long periods of time. When I had this suspension kit installed, the car had 91,443 miles. Let's go check the odometer now. $222,534 miles. That's a difference of 131,000 miles or 211,000 kilometers. The shocks have no leaks whatsoever. There is obviously a little bit of rust. The rear shock absorbers are in really good conditions, even the bushes here. There is some electric tape that I put here for protection against the stones and debris, but the tape didn't last longer. What lasted was actually the metal, because these are built really good. And also here, just a bit of rust, but all seals and close perfectly. The coils are a little bit lower, like maybe half centimeter, compared to the new one, so they really settled very little. The only problem we had, it's just the front right strut, which basically has corroded here a little bit more than the other, but still no leaks. And the bushes here at the bottom are a bit worn out. But until the very last kilometer, they were really working good. And for example, when you go over a speed bump, you feel sometimes if the shocks are old, the little extra bump and bouncing before settling, we didn't experience nothing of that. Basically, they were just removed and washed with water and soap. So this is how they look after so many miles on it. And I did only have a little problem with actually the front right suspension, this one that is a little bit poorer condition compared to the other, and it was a little screeching hearing. But I contacted Australia, the team there, and back then the suspensions were covered by a 3 years, 60,000 kilometers warranty. Now it's a 4 years unlimited warranty. And basically they just gave me the details of their representative in Argentina. They tied a knot and all was good. I still cannot believe how good they look. And the fact that they are fully functional, it's pretty amazing. I feel a bit sad to let them go, you know, we got a bit attached to it. But this will be shipped to Australia. So don't be surprised if you bump into one of these, if you go to one of the many Ironman 4x4 showrooms or at the trade show. At least now you know where they're coming from. When you're looking to buy a new suspension kit, there are many factors to take into consideration. How high you want the lift, how much extra weight will you be carrying and how often, what kind of off-road will you do. Ironman 4x4 got you covered. They literally have in stock hundreds of products to suit your needs. Trim packers, sway bars, spacers, upper control arms, and so on. They provide 3 types of bulbing: comfort, performance, or professional. But also the coils. You can choose between light, medium, or heavy load. Today, we just received a big upgrade from our previous kit. Ironman 4x4 top of the range Foam Cell Pro. which further improves the foam cell technology and design by having a bigger shaft, bigger cylinder, and bigger piston. Now, the bigger size means not just more durability and strength, but also better valving and better performance in terms of cooling because of the larger surface area. Our car is fitted for cross-continental travel and can weigh up to 3 tons on a full load. So after discussing with the team, we agreed that the best option for me would be the professional valving and heavy coils at front and rear. Also, the Foam Cell Pro struts come with the possibility to regulate them in height, so we lifted the car at the front of additional 4 centimeters. This way now our car is at the same level between front and rear. Another great addition was to install 2 of these, the Pro Forge upper control arms. You see, when you install a lift kit, standard control arms can make it difficult sometimes to keep factory alignment specifications. But the Ironman 4x4 Pro Forge upper control arm guarantees a perfect camber and caster alignment up to a 3-inch lift kit. Honestly, I would install them just for the shiny and aggressive look they have. I'm really happy. Our Toto has got a new look and is also a little bit more taller. I can't wait to try our new Foam Cell Pro suspensions on the African continent. And I'm so proud to have become part of the Ironman 4x4 team, a brand that I really trust. In conclusion, and based on my real-life experience, I highly recommend Ironman 4x4. For me, they built the best suspensions in the world because they literally took me around the globe. And I don't know of any other brand that performed so well for that long. You may think this is such a bold statement, but to be honest with you, Ironman 4x4 has got nothing else to prove to me, and I wouldn't look any further. I hope you liked the video and it did provide you with some useful information. Please feel free to share it with someone you know that is maybe looking to upgrade his car's suspensions. Thank you for watching and see you around.
Adesso vedremo in diretta, live, le prime impressioni di Vera, the first impressions of Vera, con le nuove sospensioni, with the new suspensions. So how is it? Com'è?
I feel higher.
Più alta?
Sì.
Molto? Little?
Sì, abbastanza. Sicuramente più alti qua siamo.
Ok.
Definitely I feel higher in here.
Più alta davanti, ok.
Sì. It feels definitely stiffer. Oh yeah.
È più dura, più duretta, sì?
Più dura, tanto più dura.
Non si sposta, eh? Let's go try it on the road, andiamo a provare la strada.
Let's go try it off-road.
Ok, ok. Proviamola fuori strada.
Fuori
Ok,
strada.
ok.
Fuori strada sicuramente vedremo come performa.